Hey YouTube, it's Samara again, and if you are new to this channel, welcome to the channel where you get Samara That World, get it, some more of that world. And today we are going to continue on with the regular scheduled programming, talking about safety tips for travelers, specifically solo female travelers. I had made a whole list of all of the safety tips you could possibly use while traveling, and I basically broke it down into how to not get robbed and how to not get kidnapped. So today we're going to talk about mainly how to not get robbed and what to do to minimize the amount that you'll get robbed if you were to ever get robbed. Hopefully that makes sense. Also, before I get into this video, I just want to say that some of the recommendations I have are regarding products that you should purchase. So I am going to make a blog post regarding that with more detail on the actual products that I recommend. I'm just going to talk about it very generally here. So if you are looking for specific product recommendations, go check out my blog. I will leave the link in the description, and I'll probably write that within the next week. So stay tuned for that. And without further ado, let's get into the video. I came up with about 18 different ways you can avoid getting robbed or just reduce the amount of things that would get robbed if you were to get robbed, and just to protect yourself in that kind of situation. So number one is to always keep your valuables in front of you. So either do that with a neck wallet. There's literally neck wallets you can purchase and they keep everything in front of you. You can do a money belt. I'm not a huge fan of money belts, so yeah, I mean, you can use that if you want, but you can also do the neck wallet. Like I said, I think I'd prefer that personally. You can also just do a regular wallet. Just make sure that you keep it in front of you at all times. Another thing that I personally like to use is a necklace phone case. So I'll show you guys what I have for my iPhone. I have this. It just goes around my neck like this. The reason why I like this is because when I'm using GPS and I'm walking around, I need to look at my phone. Someone can't just, come up and snatch my phone out of my hand. It's literally around my neck. And if you are going to get something like this, I would recommend getting one with thicker, like a thicker rope, because sometimes they have plastic ones that they sell and I feel like those snap pretty easily. And in the past I had purchased a couple of those, and after, I don't know, like a few weeks they would end up snapping. So I would try to buy something with thicker material. Number two is have more than one phone. I know some of you are like, wait, what? Why would I have more than one phone? But I've had it happened where when I was studying abroad in South Korea, someone stole my phone, and it wasn't even a Korean, it was probably like an international person. But it really sucks to be in a country without a phone, because if you don't speak the language, you're going to have to go and buy a new phone in a phone shop where you don't even speak the language. Like, that's a huge hassle. So I would recommend buying what I would deem a travel phone. So there's a bunch of cheap phones you can buy on Amazon that are unlocked, like Galaxies, and a bunch of various smartphones you can buy that are like $100 to $200. And that could just be the phone that you use when you go travel instead of your expensive phone, because once again, if you were out and about and it were to get stolen, then you're getting your phone that's stolen that's not really as expensive, and you would have your backup phone, which is your main phone, instead of having to stress about buying a phone in a foreign country. So yeah, I would recommend having two phones personally. Also, if you guys are thinking to yourself, well, I want to be able to use my iPhone to take photos, it's not that you can't take photos. You can bring your iPhone with you when you go to really specific tourist destinations that you know are more safe, or tourist areas. You'll know because those areas are where all the tourists are going to be, and so you're going to see a lot of people there. And so in that situation, of course, you can take some photos with your iPhone, but just be very vigilant, be very vigilant about what you're doing with your phone, who's around you, and make sure that as soon as you're done using your phone that you put it away. You don't want it to just have it out and about at all times. It's not like I didn't use my iPhone at all. I did use it to take photos occasionally, but for the most part, if I was going anywhere or trying to Google something or use GPS, I would use a phone that I purchased on Amazon that was very cheap. It was unlocked, so I was able to actually put local SIM cards in there, and it did everything I needed it to do without it looking like it was expensive and it making me a target for thieves. And number three is, I wouldn't recommend using, those wallet phone cases. There's phone cases where it's literally a phone case and a wallet, so you put all of your, credit cards in there. The reason why I don't recommend that is because I actually had one of those, once again, when my phone got robbed in South Korea, and not only did my phone get stolen, but everything else got stolen too. All of my credit cards and debit cards, my money, my driver's license. So that's why I don't recommend having a phone wallet while you travel, because it's pretty much a way for someone to steal all of your stuff all in one swoop. You kind of want to keep everything separate, because if someone steals your phone, well, you still have your credit cards and your debit cards and vice versa. But if you put it in those wallet phone cases, then it's just really easy for everything to get stolen at once. So yeah, wouldn't recommend those. And number 4 is to have more than one debit card and credit card on you, because if you were to ever get one stolen, you would have backups, right? So I would always have backups for both my credit card and my debit cards. When I would go out and about, I would bring my typical credit card and debit card with me. Maybe I would only bring one, actually. So I knew if either of those were to get stolen, I would have backups so that I'm not stranded without money. Always have backups, and the backups are the ones that you keep in a safe in your hotel or your hostel. Those are the ones you're just going to leave behind and you're not going to take with you while you're out and about exploring. Number 5 is when you go out at night, and even during the day in some places, only bring the amount of cash that you need. I know that that's not necessarily necessary in some places. Some places are very safe, but once again, depending on where you are, you may only want to bring cash with you so that once again, you're not at risk for your credit cards or your debit cards being stolen. It just, you have less on you in general, which is better, because once again, you want less things to get stolen if they were to ever get stolen. And number 6 is that if you need to look something up, don't do it in public. And what I mean is, if you need to go on your phone to look something up, Google something, or to GPS something, don't be on your phone like this walking around, because it makes you look like an obvious tourist. It's better to just go in to a grocery store or a market or somewhere that's inside, like a restaurant or a cafe, and do that inside, because then you're not going to be an easy target for a thief that's just walking out and about in the streets to snatch your phone. So yeah, just do that inside a place if you need to look something up while you're exploring, if you're lost, because yeah, you just don't want to look like an obvious tourist, and you looking at your GPS like you're lost is going to make you look like a tourist. And number 7 is that if you are going to look something up, let's say you need maps and you need your GPS and you're trying to get somewhere, I highly recommend having headphones in while you're looking that up, because once again, you don't want to look like an obvious tourist, and if your GPS is going off and telling you, make a right here, make a left here, people are going to know you're not from there and that you're lost or that you're looking for something. And once again, they might associate you with being a tourist, and so that makes you an easier target. But if you listen with your headphones in to the GPS, then no one's going to know that you're looking at GPS. They might just think that you're listening to music, and once again, you're going to look more like a local. Everything I do is very much focused on trying to look like a local or blend in. Number 8 is dress low key. If you don't want to be a target, you obviously don't want to be dressing super fancy. You don't want to have a bunch of fancy clothes on you, fancy accessories, fancy bags, because it's going to make you a target, and you just want to look like you blend in and that you're just a nobody. Okay, don't buy expensive things or fancy looking things. And if you have anything that is more expensive, find a way to make it look like it's not expensive. For instance, for my camera, I actually didn't even use the camera bag that I was given. I used an old camera bag from like a very old camera, because it just looks a lot more run down and raggedy than the new camera bag that I had. And that was once again to make it look like, oh, there's nothing in that camera bag that looks like it'd be expensive. So you just want to minimize looking like you have expensive things. And that's also why I recommend getting a cheap phone, as I said previously, because when you have a cheap phone, you're less of a target, because no one's looking at your phone thinking, that looks like an iPhone that I want to steal. Just like, whatever, it's whatever, just a basic phone. I don't need to go and put myself at risk to steal that. So yeah, just try not to look expensive. And even with your day pack, like my day pack is just plain black, okay? Nothing that's gonna be like drawing attention to yourself. Number 9 is to get anti-theft gear, and this isn't something that everyone's gonna wanna do, but it's something I personally did. I personally purchased an anti-theft backpack, and that backpack is essentially slash proof, so no one can actually slash through it with a knife. And also, one of the straps I can actually unlock and then lock it onto other things like bars or poles or whatever it is. I can actually lock it onto things, and so that was pretty useful when I was in Thailand, because I would do overnight buses, and so I would keep my backpack close to me. And in Thailand, there is theft that occurs on buses, and it's more common on certain buses than others, but I would keep my backpack close to me, and then I would also lock the strap onto the bar at the bottom of the seat in front of me. So if anyone were to ever try to snatch my backpack in the middle of my sleep, it would be hard for them, or it would be impossible for them, because number 1, it wouldn't move. Like, it would literally get stuck on the bar. They would have had to literally climb over me and go underneath and try to unlock that from the bar to steal it. That would have just caused way too much of a hassle for the thief. So yeah, it never happened to me. My backpack never got stolen, and obviously if someone tried to do that, it would have woken me up. So yeah, anti-theft backpacks, they're great. Number 10 is to try to get your money from banks and not ATMs. The reason why I say this is because banks are obviously going to be more secure. That's not always going to be possible, or maybe you just want the convenience of using an ATM. So what I recommend is that you always check the card reader, because there's a lot of ways that people can try to steal your identity by using ATMs. And one of those ways is actually people put like a fake almost mold over the card reader that looks like exactly like the card reader. And so when you put your card in, it reads the card and then steals your identity. Like the hacker takes your identity, but then it also goes through the regular bank card reader, so you won't even know that your card has gone through one of those readers. So the way to try to test for that is that every time you put your card into one of those card readers for the ATM, is to try to actually like wiggle it, try to wiggle it, because if it's fake, it'll actually come off. And then that's how you know that there was a hacker there that put that fake card reader on there. So yeah, check the card reader, and like I said, try to get your money out of banks because it is the most secure way, but there are a bunch of ways that hackers are looking to get your information. So if you need more information on that, like how hackers get your information through ATMs, I can research that and then do a future video on that. Number 11 is to get an RFID blocking technology wallet. And essentially what that does is that it prevents hackers from getting your information. So nowadays, hackers can actually literally, as you are walking past them, just steal your information directly from your wallet. If you have a regular wallet, they don't even have to grab your stuff. They can literally just walk past you, and they have card readers that will take that information, and that's how they end up stealing your identity. Just by walking past you, they are able to access that information. So in order to prevent that, you should get an RFID blocking technology wallet, because those wallets actually prevent hackers from being able to access your information. It literally blocks them from being able to read your card. And then number 12 is to get a fanny pack. A fanny pack is great for nighttime when you're going out, because, personally me, when I'm out, sometimes I put my phone or my credit card, I don't always remember where I put them. Sometimes I'll put them in my front pocket, in my back pocket, and then when you're out and you're drinking, you get a little bit less aware of where you're putting your stuff. So something that I did was I purchased a fanny pack, and that was one of the best things I could have done, because I never lost anything. Every night when I would go out, I knew everything was in my front pouch, and kept everything there. And so it was really easy for me to keep track of it. And also it was in front of me. Once again, that's going to prevent people from stealing things. And along with that, I will say, just be careful, because with the fanny pack thing, they do have a lot of cute ones now. So of course, get a cute one. One of the ones that I actually brought with me was this one. So it's actually quite cute. And the thing is, though, is this would have been great for somewhere in Europe where, the crime isn't as high, but I actually took this to South Africa, and I kind of regretted that, because it does look a little bit too fancy. Like, obviously you want to get something that's cute, but you don't want it to look too fancy that, once again, it draws attention to you and makes you look like you have money. So yeah, just, go with a cute fanny pack. Try to get something that's a little bit simple and nothing that's going to be too flashy and draw attention to you. And then they also have fanny packs that have RFID blocking technology in them, so that'll also prevent any hackers from trying to take your credit card information. So yeah, you kind of get it all with the fanny pack. And once again, like I said, I will post in my blog the ones that I recommend. Number 13 is to get a credit card that you can lock from your phone. I don't know if every credit card company allows you to do this. My assumption is that many let you do this, but I don't know, because every credit card company I work with lets me lock my credit card on my phone. But you should be able to access your credit cards through your mobile banking. And the reason why I say you should be able to lock your credit card is that, once again, if you were to ever get your credit card stolen, you want to be able to go on your phone quickly, or online banking online, like literally from your laptop or whatever you can find to get online access to your bank account, and lock that card so no one can use it. You don't really want to be traveling with a credit card that you'd have to call in the bank to make them lock it or cancel it, because that's going to give the thief a lot more time to be able to use your credit card. So you want to be able to lock it instantly from your mobile banking or your online banking. Number 14 is to take photos of all of your credit cards. as well as your passport you should also do this for. But take photos of your credit cards, the front and the back, as well as your passport, and send all of that information to you before you go travel, or give it to someone in your family that you'd be able to contact about it in case any of those things were to ever get lost. You would have that information, that stuff you need to know. And then by taking photos of your credit cards, you'll also have the customer service phone number that's on the back of those cards. So if you ever needed to contact customer service, you would have that number either through the photos that you send to yourself or that your family can send to you to let you know, hey, this is the number you need to call. Number 15 is to know the scams that happen in other countries, because there are different scams that happen in different countries. So it's just important to be aware of what those scams are so you can avoid them. Fortunately, I never got scammed, and I'm usually pretty aware of those kinds of things. Like, I'm not too gullible when it comes to people trying to get my money. Is that to say that that would never happen? No, I could have just gotten lucky. If you're not one of those people who kind of knows how scams work, or you're not very good at knowing when someone might be scamming you, or you're just not very good with being able to read if someone's trying to take advantage of you money-wise, then just read up on the scams that might occur in the country that you're going to so that you can be aware of them. Also, that's not to say that even if you are vigilant about those kinds of things, or a little bit more aware of those things, that you shouldn't also look them up. It's always going to be helpful to look up the local scams in that country just to be extra safe and take the proper precautions regarding that. Okay, number 16 is if you're traveling by bus, keep your valuables close to you, because, and that's why I say get an anti-theft backpack, because it's going to help in those situations where you're on a bus and you have to keep your valuables close to you. But the reason why I'm saying this is because when I was in Thailand, I had read how a lot of the buses there have their employees actually go underneath the bus while the bus is moving to basically steal the valuables that people leave in their essentially checked luggage. Like, essentially the luggage that they put underneath the bus is where these people are getting the valuables from. So if you keep your valuables on you, then they can't go through your luggage while you're asleep, because it's going to be near you. And so that's why that anti-theft backpack is good, because although that might stop the employees from stealing the valuables, that doesn't necessarily mean that the people on the bus couldn't steal it. While you're sleeping, someone could literally just grab it and then run while they get off at their next stop. So that anti-theft backpack, like I was saying, will help because you can lock that backpack onto a metal bar. Number 17 is that if someone tries to steal something from you, just give them your stuff. I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but you see it happening on the news. You see people running after thieves, and a lot of the times those people end up dying because they went and ran after a thief who either got in their car and then they end up being dragged along while they're holding on to the car and then end up hitting their head on the concrete, or that thief has a knife or a gun or some sort of weapon. So personally, I don't think that it's worth it to lose your life over a couple $100 or even a couple of $1,000. You just don't want to mess with your life, you guys. Like, there's no amount of money that's worth risking your life over. Just if someone's trying to steal something from you, I highly recommend that you just give it to them. And I'm not even going to say that I haven't had this happen. I actually did have a situation where something got stolen and I did run after a thief, but that's a story for another time. I'm obviously okay, but I do look back on that and think I shouldn't have done that. I got really lucky and I got away with something that probably not a lot of people would have been able to get away with. So yeah, just don't do it. And also, if you want to minimize what gets stolen from you, if someone comes up to you and tries to steal something from you, let's say they put you at gunpoint or they have a knife and say, give me your stuff, it's a good idea to have a fake wallet. And what I mean by a fake wallet is literally like a wallet that you keep in case anything ever gets stolen from you. So all you have to do is put some old credit cards in there that you don't use anymore, maybe canceled credit cards, expired credit cards, as well as some cash. Like, put in cash in there that you're gonna let them steal, but that's not going to be all of your money. That's just gonna be the money that you give the thief. And so yeah, it's important to have something to give them, because if you say you don't have anything, they're gonna think you're lying and that could put your life in more jeopardy. So it's better to just be like, here's my wallet, and give them what you have, right? Number 18 is to get travel insurance, because travel insurance will protect you if you ever get something stolen. and they can cover you for up to $1,000 even, or thousands of dollars depending on the travel insurance you get. And that's really a great way to have peace of mind about things getting stolen, because if your phone gets stolen, they will cover you. You won't have to pay out of pocket for that. If your laptop gets stolen, once again, you won't have to pay out of pocket. That insurance will cover you. Now, the only thing with that is that obviously if your phone gets stolen or your laptop gets stolen and you have a bunch of photos on there, that's probably the hardest thing to lose. Is not even the material object, it's all of those memories. So it's so important, you guys, that if you're traveling and you're taking a bunch of photos, or you just have a bunch of photos on your phone from the last however many years you've had it, and you haven't backed those photos up on either a Google Drive or an external hard drive, that you do that before you travel. Make sure you back up every photo you have, and I would even back up the photos that you take while you're traveling on a daily or, every other day basis. And although some people will recommend to back that up also on an external hard drive, I'm not a huge fan of that, because once again, the external hard drive is something that could still get stolen. So I am a fan of putting it onto a Google Drive or some sort of cloud drive that you can get online, so that way you'll always be able to access it even if your stuff gets stolen, because that's something you can access literally from the web on any device, so you don't need a physical thing to keep those memories. So there you have it. That travel insurance will help you. It will cover you, and all you really have to worry about is the memories that you make and the photos that you keep, and backing those up so that those never get lost. Anyways, you guys, I hope that helped. I hope you like those tips. If you like those tips, comment below to let me know which one was your favorite tip and which ones helped you. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and as always, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.